volume free, well, video free, volume's different. Yeah, okay. So, Lazy Stephen hasn't got the light out, but again, natural light, a little bit of crack in the top. Where we're going with this, because this one is Secret Admirer. Dun dun dun! Now, true story. Again, when I talked about in the last video with the big book, and again, when you talk about Corey Haim and you're looking through all the movies, and around this time, Secret Admirer would appear, then disappear. Mainly because this is the movie where Corey's name is spelt wrong. They're missing the E, so Corey Haim plays Jeff. No E in there. There's only one other Corey I know there, Corey Wells. Anyway, as I say, I found that back in the day when, you know, you're looking through the book and you think, have you got Secret Admirer? And there you go. Now, this stars C. Thomas Howell and Kelly Preston, along with Fred Ward. And I'll get there with Fred Ward in a minute. Now, I've had that for a very long time and never had it on DVD, and I will talk about availability later on. But when I was in Barcelona at the start of this year, found it on Blu-ray. Now, I could have cut to Barcelona there, but no, I'm not going to cut to Barcelona, because you want to see me in Barcelona, walking around Barcelona looking at films, check it out. It's called Welcome to Barcelona. It's on YouTube. Right, okay, so this film isn't one of my go-to films with Corey Haim, because he's in it in such a small role. And C. Thomas Howell would work with Feldman later on in Fortune Hunters, but let's talk about this movie. Yes, let's talk about the movie. Now, when it comes to Corey Haim, he's in a very small role. I think he's got about 4 scenes in that, and again, he plays Jeff, who's the younger brother to Michael. So again, it's like you're a Lost Boys fan and he's shouting, Michael, when he's talking about his brother. Yeah. Storyline is a bit simple. Someone writes a letter, and this letter gets passed around, and Corey actually is a massive plot device in this, because he sets off the chain reaction. Another film Fred Ward's in. Is Fred Ward in Chain Reaction? He might be, he might not be. He's definitely in Road Trip. Anyway, he passes the letter on, and that sets off a chain reaction. Now, Dean Wallace is in this as well, and if I remember right, and I remembered about this, when I met her, I would have got her to sign the VHS, because it's always cool to have a Corey Haim VHS signed, because you can't really narrow many people down. Anyway, when it comes to him, his hair is out, and there will be a clip right now of the chain reaction thing I was meant to say.
Long to have your arms around me, feel your body. Whoa, radical!
Radical, yeah. So yeah, he keeps appearing, stealing money, and then eventually gets chucked out the window into the rose bushes. Quite funny. Now, in the support role, the movie, I will walk into that a few times. Secret fucking accident. Yeah, what I was about to say was, Haim's part of this is away from it. If you look at the story, see Thomas Howell and Kelly Preston, as well as the other lass who takes a really Laurie Lowlin. There's quite a lot, like Courtney Gaines from the Burbs in this. There's quite a few familiar faces. How this hasn't found its way back out on Blu-ray within the UK, because when I've been talking about films recently, like Dream a Little Dream and Heathers, and you look at these 80s films that have this high school, you know, kids, right, we need to make these 15s. This is this, because this is a very hard rated comedy, romantic comedy, where it's got an older generation with Fred Ward and Dean Wallace. Fred Ward fucking steals the show with this one clip.
Really?
Scumbag piece of shit.
Good evening, Mr. Fimple.
Fuck you.
Yeah, he really steals the film with that one thing. And you've got other actors you recognise, but you've got the older generation and then you've got the newer generation. Now, Kelly Preston and Laurie were both in Old Dogs decades later, but Kelly Preston as well, full on naked, like full bears. You're like, wow, you know, like, you know, so it's got a bit of eye candy. Also hits with the 80s jams and cheese, and at the very end it does say whatever the fuck jams and cheese was, what I've just said, but again it says soundtrack available, and it's something I would probably track down. eBay had nothing. Very 80s sim score as well. And the film is laugh out loud. Now, C. Thomas Howell never really hit the ground running. He's in the hit share, and he's worked constant throughout his career. But I do think that this film could get a release within the UK. So let's talk about availability. As I say, it was released in VHS back in the day, but it's never seen the light on DVD within the UK. And that is The Spanish, which plays in English and looks great. Again, worth buying, in my opinion, especially if you're a Haim fan. This is going for about £20 on eBay right now. But yeah, as I say, Secret Admirer, Admiradora Secreta. again, with this film, I think it's a lost gem of the 80s. Him just being in a very small, whatever his performance is, he's really funny in it, and he's gone before you realise it. His hair's out there, I've already said that, but see Thomas Howell, you know, I remember when I first ever saw this and thought it was Jim Carrey. You know, like Jim Carrey in One Spitting Error and Earth Girls Are Easy, Wetlock, after he's red. I think this film carries really well. It's really funny. It's got some hard ratings. And as well as something as well with it, the characters, right, they're justified. One guy called Steve, you know, literally comes off about a bit of a prick when he says, do you want to use a condom? I've got birth control. He then literally, a couple of minutes later, tries to justify himself through the door, even while the lass is already pissed off out the window. And it's the same with Kelly Preston's character where, you know, she rips her tits out and you're just not prepared for it. I was like, wow, you know. And then she's just like, wait, I've just met you, and there's a hand going to see. And every character is really justified. The parents as well. I think there's a lot of, you know, surrounding characters, and Thomas Howell just being the heartthrob running around. I think he probably would have auditioned for Breakfast Club at that point. This could have been like Rob Lowe and something like that. There's a lot of casting choices around who that could have been at that era. But I think it's a lost gem that should be available. And when it comes to Haim, if you're a Haim fan, yeah, he's in there. And for what he is, you can see right now where someone's went, oh, he's quite funny, you know. He's got some comic time in there. And you know what I mean? Because, again, a couple of years later, Lost Boys happens. And it's not that many films. So yeah, Secret Admirer is definitely worth adding to the collection. And as I say, you can get it on VHS and now the Blu-ray. See you in the outtakes. Hello, in the Secret Admirer outtakes. There was no outtakes filmed. I'm up to about 8 or 9, and I'm just getting around to editing them now. Obviously, there's a few weeks past since I actually filmed Secret Admirer. Casper's even borrowed the Blu-ray office because I was telling him about it and he was curious to watch it. I watched Brotherhood of Justice the next day, and the actress Looney Longland, I've just butchered her name, who was in that, and they were both filmed the same year, so a bit of coincidence there. Done a separate video about Brotherhood of Justice, so you want to check that out when it eventually comes out. But obviously getting around to doing the Corey ones, I'm at this moment watching Silver Bullet. So Silver Bullet will be coming down the line. And that's the one after Pray the Roll. So I think I'm up to like 7 or 8. So I'm really enjoying revisiting these films as well. This is my second view on a Silver Bullet. I put it on the other night after a few beers, and I just got a massive nostalgia, which I'll talk about in there. But yeah, as I say, no outtakes films. So I thought I'll jump right. And again, if you're going to watch these in any kind of chronological order, because they're named in volumes, you know, they should be bouncing all over the place. But that's what makes it interesting. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.